All right, so what we're gonna be doing today is reviewing this Ego 765 CFM blower. This one is model LB7654, and it retails for about $299. You could get these at the store or online. Normally what I do is I place my order, use my Lowe's credit card, get 5% discount. Once it's ready, I go pick it up, headache free. Now it does come with a 5-amp battery, and it does have a charger and some accessories. So we are gonna go over the pros and the cons on the unit, and I do have other Ego products that have multiple batteries, hedge trimmer, I do have a weed eater attachment, and I have a 650 CFM blower, which I use all the time and I absolutely love. So this one is up to 765 CFMs at 200 miles per hour. You do have different run times, 90 minutes on average, 15 minutes on high, and about 150 minutes on low. So you do have a variable speed trigger between 260 to 580 CFMs. It does have a brushless motor. It is weather resistant, and it comes with a 5-year warranty on the unit and 3-year warranty on the battery. I always like to register my products as Ego so that I make sure that I know when my warranty expires. So with that said, guys, if you have any questions or comments, you know what to do. Don't forget to like and follow and check out some of our links. They do help us out. All right, let's see what comes in the box. You have multiple nozzles. Okay. Absolutely gorgeous. All right, so this is the charger. I already have multiple chargers, and one of the things I like about them, it has the little mounting for the wall. So I already have one that I use on a daily basis. So what I do, I store this in the original box, keep it in the attic, just in case if any of the other ones break, you never know. All right, so you do have the strap. And one of the most important things is the battery. All right, so you also have the manual for the actual unit. All right, so like I said, make sure that when you get it, the battery is not used, it's brand new. I love the way Ego's engagement on the battery has a nice strong spring. So once it's locked in, it has nowhere to go. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and it looks like they made this a little bit nicer than the one that I have. All the little details in black. All right, so you do have this little green lever right here to put it in and pull it out. All right, so there we go. All right, right, let's see how heavy it is with the 5-amp battery. All right, so it's on 0. All right, so we got 9 pounds, 13.4 ounces, and 9 pounds, 13.4 ounces. All right, so when it's time to charge the battery, we're gonna put it in the charger. You do have a slot that falls into. All right, once it locks in, it'll start running. So you do have a little fan that kind of cools the battery. It is a little annoying at first, but it does tell you that it's finished. Once it's finished, let's say you need the battery, so once the fan is done, it's perfect that it's ready to rock and roll. You do have the indicator here on the side, and it tells you if the battery is overheated, once it's done, when it's charging, or if it's bad. You also have the indicator here in the battery. I really like how the 5-amp batteries do have like a level pretty much. So once it's full, obviously it'll let you know when it's ready to rock and roll. And like I mentioned, you could mount it on the wall or inside a cabinet, so you could have more space saving. So let's check out, see how loud this little charger is. All right, so it's about 60 decibels. Like I say, it's annoying at first, but it's a great indicator to let you know that the battery is complete, and you can go ahead and start using it again. All right, so you have 2 options. You have this nozzle right here, which is very easy to install. It clips in, it's got like a little clip right there. So I'm assuming this is for heavy duty, when you have a lot of leaves and you want to cover a flat area. I personally don't like using this one too much, because we also use this to dry our cars. But this is pretty much my favorite option right here. This one here, manual says without the tapered nozzle, 166 miles per hour, and with it, it's 195 miles an hour. So almost at 200 miles an hour they claim that it has. So sometimes if you're short like myself, when you have a long tip like this, you do tend to kind of like when you're walking in the sidewalk, you gotta be careful because it'll kind of hit the bottom of it, depending on. So we're gonna check to see how balanced the unit is and go from there. All right, so this is your Eagle strap, which is a very nice quality. I just wish it was a little bit rubberized on the bottom, so if you have slanting shoulders, it will kind of slip off your shoulder. But very, very comfortable to use it. It balances out the unit, and it's easy to use. You snap it in here, and you're pretty much good to go. I'll show you how it kind of fits, but definitely makes the unit perfectly balanced. So if you have any issues with your wrist, since when you pick it up, it tends to go towards the front, the weight of it, and it definitely puts a little stress on your wrist. So if you do have issues with that, this strap is an actual very good thing. So this is your variable throttle, okay, between 260 CFMs to 580, and then this is your speed lock. You can lock it right here if you don't want to be pressing on it. And then if you need the turbo, you press the turbo and you're pretty much good to go. Very easy to use, self-explanatory unit. All right, another little feature that it has, it's got this little hook right here, so you could wall mount it. You could either use it with a large-headed bolt, or you could go look on Etsy. There's a bunch of little 3D printed accessories you could buy for the Eagle products, and you could mount it on the wall or inside your cabinet or anything like that. One of the things that I did notice with this unit, on my 650 CFM blower Eagle, this actual tube right here is a little bit more narrow. So I don't use my nozzle because it makes it too long, and it adds just a little weight on it, but it's no big deal since it's already tip heavy. I would definitely do an option where you could make this a little bit more narrow, so you could get that extra mile per hour, and add a little metal trim right here to protect it from the ground, scratching it or hitting it or whatever the case may be. So just a little, I guess, option that if Eagle was to be watching the video. So with that, I think everything else is pretty good. As far as the actual trigger here, I've been using this one here. For some reason, it a couple times it's caught my skin on my finger. So I'm not really sure if it's just because I have kind of like thin skin, or my other one didn't do that. So a couple times it kind of pinched it. Normally I sometimes use a glove, so I don't notice it. But when I don't use the glove on my 650, nothing happens. Another thing that I noticed is that they should make the handle a little bit more balanced, where the unit, when you grab it, it doesn't go forward all the time. I didn't notice that. So when you wear the strap and you put the strap right here, it makes a perfect balance. So I think that Eagle should move the handle accordingly. So with a 5-amp battery, it's perfectly balanced. And even when you're pressing on it, as far as the power, the nozzle, it's going to be pointing down. All right, so let's go ahead and test it on the turbo setting with the 5-amp battery. It's fully charged, so let's give that a whack. All right. All right, so we got dead battery. We have a full 15 minutes and 33 seconds. It's actually pretty good. All right, I think the manual says 15 minutes, so not bad. Eagle 765 CFM blower, 15 minutes and 33 seconds. All right, so battery's dead completely. So we're gonna go ahead and put it to charge, see how long it'll take to charge a 5-amp battery. All right, so what I got was about 1 hour and 7 minutes. So we'll double check with the manufacturer, see how long it takes to charge the 5-amp battery from basically dead. All right, let's go ahead and try, see how loud it is outside. And we'll try it with the nozzle, without the nozzle, on medium high, and then on the turbo. So right now it does have the nozzle tip, which seems to be a little bit louder. And then we'll try it several ways. All right, so we got about 93.8 decibels. So now let's go ahead and try it with the turbo. All right, got about 98.2 decibels with the turbo and the nozzle. So let's remove the nozzle and see how it sounds. All right, without the nozzle, on medium high, we got about 91.4. So let's try it with the turbo. All right, got 97.1. So this is the way I usually use my 650 without the tip, you know, and it's now not as like, you know, loud, that little high-pitched sound. This one seems to be a little bit more, obviously has more power than the 650 CFM that I currently own, but definitely they're very comparable as far as, you know, moving, you know, things around, moving the leaves and things like that. So we're gonna go ahead and try out some little tests. I don't have like a Newton meter to test the actual power, so we're gonna have to kind of, you know, use different things to do that. But now you know that with the nozzle, it is a little bit louder. You do get more miles per hour on the tip. You get about almost 200 miles per hour using the nozzle on turbo. All right, so if you're gonna be using your strap, it's actually a pretty good little feature I've never used before, since these units are a little bit tip heavy, and especially when you put power to it, it pushes down even more. And if you have any issues with your wrist or anything like that, so by installing the strap, it just makes it pretty much perfectly balanced. So it's like weightless, you could probably use this for hours. So I really like using the strap. I might even start incorporating it more often because like I say, look, it makes it perfectly balanced. Like I mentioned in the video before, they should kind of move the handle a little bit more accordingly so you have a more of a balanced unit. So shoulder strap actually is pretty cool. The only thing I wish they put a little bit of rubber under it so it doesn't kind of slide, you know, from your shoulders just like that. You know, I guess you can make it a little bit longer and maybe put it, you know, across, which is more of a pain in the butt. If you want to put it across, even easier, you know, almost feels like a guitar. So if you want to do like this is just a little bit more inconvenient. If you have to do it all the way across, you have to loosen up the strap, make it a little bit longer, so it's a little bit lower to the ground. But either way, the strap works pretty good. But you know, the little rubber piece would make it just perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and try it out. See how it performs out here. Right now it has the little nozzle on it. That's standard, that's not on turbo. Turbo. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and use this little scale idea I came up with to put some pressure on it, read the pounds, and see more or less where it gets us. I have no other way of testing the power coming from the blower. I don't have a Newton meter to do it with. So I just thought about doing something like this. So we're gonna try the 650, and then we're gonna try the 765. And the 650 on the lock trigger, the max is 470. And on the 765 is 580, so there is a difference. But so we're gonna basically look at, you know, the turbo, you know, on both of the units, just to get a rough idea the difference. Like I say, I really enjoy using my 650. I feel like it's got like the same power. So if you could get your hands on it, you won't be disappointed with the 650. If you want that little extra oomph, then go for the 765. So let's give that a whack to see if we could get some numbers coming out of this. Go ahead and turn this sucker on. All right, so we are set to 0, so we're gonna go ahead and lock it, see what we get. right, so we got 212, 2 pounds, 12 ounces. I'm gonna put a little tie wrap on the turbo, that way my hand does not affect the actual weight of it. All right, we got about 412, 4 pounds, 12 ounces. And let's go ahead and try the 765. I'm going to use the same battery, make sure that it's got the same amperage. All right, let me just sit there for a minute. All right, so let's go ahead and lock it up. All right, 3 pounds, 5 ounces. And we'll do a little tie wrap thing here. All right, I've got 5 pounds. Round it off to about 5 pounds. All right, so we got 4 pounds, 12 ounces, just shy of the 5 pounds. Obviously on the turbo, this one has a little bit more. It's supposed to have 765 versus 650. And here it's 2 pounds, 12 ounces, 3 pounds, 5 ounces. Obviously it's more because you got 580 versus 470. But honestly, when I use the 650, it feels like this one has more on the lock trigger than this one. I'm not sure if it's because it has a little bit wider diameter on the the long pipe, not using the nozzle. This is not using the nozzle. I've tried it with the nozzle and actually it has less, it has more mile per hour speed of the air coming out of it, but it's lower push on the scale. So like I say, 412, 5 pounds, pretty close. So either one of these machines will do just fine. All right, so final thoughts on both of these units, especially the 765. So they're pretty close. So it all depends on what you're looking for. If you want that little extra power, definitely go with the 765. I did notice a few little things that I want to go over, and I did notice that the 765 does tend to pinch me a little bit on the trigger. Another thing, if you look at the balance like I was talking about earlier, as far as the unit, if you look at this one, you could tell it has more weight towards the front. They're both 5 amp batteries and they actually weigh exact same thing. So this one tends to have more weight at the tip, and if you look at the 650, it's almost like perfectly balanced. That's why I kind of like the way the 650 feels. Like I said, I never had any issues and it just feels fantastic. One of the things that I did notice about the 765 that it tends to pinch me, okay, when I press it, right around this little, since I have soft little skin, I guess, it keeps on pinching me when I press it, which the 650 does not do that. I looked at it and it has a little bit different design under this area right here than the 650 does. So this one does pinch me, that one does not pinch me. If you do have gloves, you're not gonna really get pinched, but definitely both great, fantastic units. And if this one here, so you see this one tends to go forward and this one doesn't. It's like perfectly balanced. So that's why I've never had an issue with using the strap on this one. This one I do feel like it's a little bit more tip heavy, but definitely excellent, excellent units. So if you have any questions or comments, you know what to do. Check out some of our links, they do help us out. And don't forget to like and follow. I'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching.